Yeah, and China will lose the US market, which, as I've said, is 15%.
We don't care. We don't care.
A very good morning, good afternoon, good evening from wherever you're watching us from. This is Awake in Africa and I'm your host, Bemo. So from the prelude that you've watched there, that was Victor Gao, a lawyer and a businessman, an economist, an expert in the business environment, who was responding to Trump's tariffs on China. And whatever he said, man, that was savage. He said China literally doesn't care because they've been here for 5,000 years. And you know what? It's really crazy. And I think maybe he was mad after maybe after the vice president J.D. Vance said that they literally have to borrow from these Chinese peasants. I guess you need to watch this video first and then I continue.
Incurring a huge amount of debt to buy things that other countries make for us. And to make it a little bit more crystal clear, we borrow money from Chinese peasants to buy the things those Chinese peasants manufacture. That is not a recipe for economic prosperity. It's not a recipe for low prices, and it's not a recipe for good jobs in the United States of America.
So he literally called Chinese people peasants. And you know what? Chinese said, you know what? We don't care. Yes, we are peasants, but look at us. Watch out this video first.
What's life like for Chinese peasants in a Muslim village of rural China? Assalamu alaikum. I was shocked that the vice president of Greek country called us Chinese peasants.
We borrow money from Chinese peasants to buy the things those Chinese peasants manufacture.
It's not AI, it's real. And I suppose the peasant is similar like the farmer. Right now, I'm in the rural area of Yunnan, China. So let's see how's the life here. Let's start the day with the morning fajr in the Asian masjid from Qing Dynasty. Now let's go for the breakfast and the local house. It's my friend Sulaiman's house. This is very common house here in this village. Sulaiman's wife. This is the living room. Oh, look, the calligraphy. 念礼斋课朝. This is 5 pillars of Islam in Chinese. Quran in Chinese translation. And pu'er. This tree made with the pu'er, cowbell. This is typical breakfast here in Yunnan. This is the minced beef. And this one is the fermented beef. Similar process like the dry-aged beef. Here they called 牛干巴. And also the rice noodle. Wow. Mouth-watering. We put some pickled vegetables, wild mushrooms, a bit of chili. This is the Sichuan pepper oil and garlic. Wow, so good. Bismillah. Dry-aged beef. Bit salty and has that kind of fermented flavor. This is the gumbong beef. Wow, this is my favorite. Bao. Let's see what's inside. Bismillah. Wow. It's the potato. This is local blueberry, freshly picked from the mountain yesterday. The blueberry in Yunnan is so good. Now it's the tea time and brother Sulaiman's studio. Which tea we should drink? This one is around $300 1 kilo. This one like $500 and $700. This one $1,000. And this one is most expensive one. $500 or $5,000, you know, from the Asian tree. It's called Bindao, Iceland. Let's not rip him off. We just drink something around $700. This is from Yiwu Mountain. Pour the hot water in. Just 5 seconds. Look at the color. Teacup, 煎盏. It's a very unique one. Around $100 for just 1 cup. Tea is so good. It's much better than the Americano. And this is the Chinese peasant's car, made in China. Now we are going to the Asian tea mountain. My cousin Dawood. Now it's self-driving and it's free, the software. Finally, we arrived at the top of the Asian tea mountain, surrounded by the Asian tea forest with more than 1,000 years history. Next, we will experience the life of a Muslim tea farmer in China. So stay tuned and spread the love.
We're not accepting any Americans' apologies, so please don't apologize in people's live stream and comments. You guys didn't do anything wrong. Ask whoever called us peasants to apologize. He's not a man-child. He's not your kid. Why do you need to do that for him?
中美经贸关系的立场已经讲得很清楚了。听到这位副总统说出这样无知又缺乏礼貌的话，令人诧异，也感到悲哀。
So, Chinese are not ready to accept the apologies from Americans. They're saying that don't come to comment section apologizing, don't come to our lives apologizing. You know what? We're going to do this thing our way, and we're going to show you who we truly are. So guys, I've made a compilation of TikTok videos from different creators talking about this game, this tariffs game between the United States of America and China. China, being slammed with these tariffs. The US having all these having given these countries a grace period of 90 days to make sure that they come strike a deal with the United States. But you know what, China is just sitting back. They don't care. They are just doing their own thing. And different people, especially Americans and also outside America, have been reacting to this news. And this compilation of videos here, I like you to watch them to the very end. Let us watch together, and then I'll be back with my further analysis. But before that, kindly, if you're new to this channel, make sure that you subscribe this channel. Take me to 1,000 subscribers. Make sure that you like this video so that it can be suggested to as many people as possible. Make sure that you also turn on post notifications, because every day I post new videos and I'd like you the very first person to watch them. But right about now, let us jump straight to these videos, and I'll be back with my further commentary.
China literally said they don't give a fuck.
Care. We don't care.
During an interview with Victor Gao, who is a lawyer and businessman, but also the vice president of the Center for China and Globalization, the reporter told him, if you lose the United States, you'll lose 15% of your business. And this was his response.
And China will lose the US market, which, as I've said, is 15%.
We don't care. We don't care. China has been here for 5,000 years. Most of the time, there was no United States, and we survived.
That puts some perspective on shit, doesn't it? See, I've talked about this before, how when I joined the Army and started traveling the world, I learned just how young America was. I got a degree in Korean studies, and learning its 5,000-year history made me realize just how adolescent my country is. So to say we made it 5,000 years without you is a strong-ass statement. He also had this to say.
China is fully prepared to fight to the very end, because the world is big enough that the United States is not the totality of the market in the world. So if the United States wants to go in that direction of completely shutting itself out of the China market, be my guest. And if the United States wants to bully China, we will deal with the situation without the United States. And we expect to survive for another 5,000 years.
You see, even though the press secretary says things like, you haven't read The Art of the Deal, have you? If Donald Trump thinks he's doing some sneaky business stuff or trying to make power moves with these tariffs, he's not. The entire world knows what the fuck he's doing, and nobody's playing his game. In fact, amidst this tariff war with China, he's already exempted electronics and phones and other things which are primary imports from China. Why? Because he knows that the American consumer is about to get bashed across the head with his bullshit, childish tariff war with China. And as for the tariffs on all the other countries, he's already paused them, which was entirely a method of market manipulation. And again, very transparent. Everybody knows what the fuck he's up to. MAGA's convinced that this guy is some savvy business dude playing 4D chess. He's literally making transparent decisions, and everybody's calling him on his bluff. And every other country standing their ground. Meanwhile, America's losing every fucking time. And then when you add that with the fact that he's blatantly ignoring the orders of federal judges, not only are we in the middle of a financial crisis, we are also amidst a grave constitutional crisis.
I love this man and his clapbacks towards the idea that China desperately needs America. He is so based, and all of his responses are mwah. And he's right. This idea that America has that everybody needs them and we can't survive without them is just so narcissistic. You love to see it. You love to see based China clapping back. I'm here for it.
So China said, fuck around. Donald Trump did. And now we have to find out. Cute? No, not at all. For all of you Americans that have been walking around this goddamn planet thinking that we're the center of the fucking universe, we are not. So you elect this rabid fucking racist, Donald Trump, who really does think he is entitled to any and every fucking thing. Yeah, it's about to be a rude motherfucking awakening in this bitch for all of you that think like Donald Trump, you fucking maggots. We should have been ostracized from the world a long fucking time ago just on the shit that America has done to the African continent. Nobody fucking needs America. So if we Americans don't learn how to play in the goddamn global sandbox, they are fine with us packing up our shit and going the fuck home. Most of it is soiled and tainted any goddamn way. Yeah. For you fucking maggots out here losing your fucking asses, you earned it. We didn't. And what you've done, we won't forget.
Honestly, I love how China is moving. I am very much here for it. Because to be honest, they don't need the US. They are 100% right. They don't need us. We need them more than they need us. Most of our products come from China. Unless we start making our own products over here that we could survive from, we need China. So all these extra tariffs, the Chinese, they like, nah, bro, this is not happening. Like, I even loved the interview. The interviewer, she over here like, well, the US is one of y'all biggest customers and we make up 15%. Homie was like, we do not care. We do not care. You hear me? He said, we do not care. We've been around for 5,000 years before there was even a United States. We will survive. I know that's right.
Came here to say this afternoon, Ukuti, I am so proud of China. I'm so proud of China. They've raised the tariffs this morning to 125%, and the US is throwing tantrums. And the people of the USA are so entitled, saying, they want Trump to increase the tariffs to 400. And I want China to be strong and stay. They one of the guys from China had an interview this morning. I'm gonna play for you, and he says, we will take it to the gutters. Like we've been existing. He says we've been existing for he says for 500 years or something, I don't know, but he said we've been existing for a very long time without the USA. So I want to play this clip for you guys, and I want to say big ups to China, and I genuinely wish that we had a government that had this kind of backbone. A government that stands still and says that we will not be bullied by China and I will not be bullied by the USA. And I'm seeing the USA people throwing tantrums. They want Trump to increase the tariffs to 400. And I'm like, you know what? I do want people to suffer in the USA so that this can open up and they can realize, they're not the center. They're not the center of the world. Let's play this clip before I talk too much.
The problem is that in this scenario, to use your metaphor, the US has the bigger gun. And so China ends up having more to lose from this trade war, doesn't it? It can't sustain the loss of 15% of its export market, i.e. what you export to the US.
Not at all. China is fully prepared to fight to the very end because the world is big enough that the United States is not the totality of the market in the world. So if the United States wants to go in that direction of completely shutting itself out of the China market, be my guest.
Yeah, and China will lose the US market, which, as I've said, is 15%.
We don't
You
care.
can't.
We don't care. China has been here for 5,000 years. Most of the time, there was no United States, and we survived. And if the United States wants to bully China, we will deal with the situation without the United States, and we expect to survive.
What do you make of China's response? What does it mean for the everyday American?
I mean, this is a refusal to back down. And I also think China is sending a message to other countries that they could be an alternative to these protectionist measures from the U.S. And what does that mean for consumers? It means likely that prices are going to go up. I mean, think about it. Just do the math. We just mentioned a 50% tariff on top of a 54% tariff. Businesses are not going to be able to absorb all of that. They're going to have to pass some of that on to consumers. Maybe companies can source from other countries that still have a tariff, not as big as China. But I mean, this is really becoming a who's going to blink first situation.
You know, the president keeps saying that these tariffs are a way of bringing manufacturing back to this country. Do you see that happening?
Well, it's going to take a very long time, okay? Years, sometimes as much as 4 years. It's going to take hundreds of billions of dollars. But on these smaller island nations, for example, economists I'm talking to are saying that's not going to bring production here. You know, this is more about creating tariff revenue. Maybe a country like a Vietnam or a China, but on a smaller island nation, this is about creating government revenue.
So it's now a game of who blinks first? And both sides are dug in.
The next steps for China, sir? Well, we'll see what happens with China. We would love to be able to work a deal. They've really taken advantage of our country for a long period of time. They've ripped us off beyond nobody. How people stood for it, sitting in my position, is not even believable. And we're talking about many presidents, not just a couple. But they did, and all we're doing is putting it back in shape. We're resetting the table. And I'm sure that we'll be able to get along very well. I have great respect for President Xi. He's been, in a true sense, he's been a friend of mine for a long period of time. And I think that we'll end up working out something that's very good for both countries. I look forward to it.
So from this compilation, these videos, you've seen clearly that between China and America, who needs the other the most? And I'd like to comment from this veteran, an ex-US Army personnel, who was saying that, you know what, I've been around the world, I've been to Korea, and these Asian countries have existed for years, 5,000 years and counting. These are people who have been here. I've read their history. I've been there. I've seen them doing their thing. So whenever China comes out and China says we don't care about anything to do with America because they import more from us. You know, America needs us more than we need them. You know what? And you know what? Something crazy is that China, the top import from America is soybeans, probably to feed its 400 million pigs. So this is something that is really crazy. You know, it's really crazy. And I can say America is fighting a losing battle. America is just fighting a losing battle, and they're not ready for this. And it's like fucking around and finding out, because you know what, America is always trying to be a bully. Like, you know what, I'm the big boy in the room, you must listen to me, I make the rules here and you must follow them to the letter. And you know what, China is not playing along. China is not ready for anything like this. China is saying that if you want a trade war, we're gonna give it to you. You want this? Come baby, come. We're gonna give it to you. We're gonna fight this trade war to the end. We are not going to heed to any form of bullying by the American people. You are young to us. You are nothing to us. Like, have you seen this? There's a certain clip that I've played. There was a lady talking about she's importing baby bugs from China, and she might even be forced to close down her business because the tariffs. When you see when people are talking about tariffs being increased, but they don't understand what really tariffs means. When you see tariffs, when countries impose tariffs on each other, the person who is going to suffer the most is the common citizen, because the final price at the shelf, at the retail store in your hood, that's where the game is. An item that you used to buy at $10, you're going to purchase it at $25, maybe 30, 40, 50, 10 times more the price you used to buy. So the people are going to suffer are these people, are these people who have been the common citizens. The citizens are going to suffer more. These rich oligarchs don't care. They just want to go. They're saying that they're calling the big shots. Something that I must mention is MAGA supporters. These MAGA voters, the people who voted Trump in, they thought that Trump is this big boy. He calls the shots. Trump is a mastermind. Plays 4D chess, he knows how to play the games. But you know what? People right now are sitting back. You know what? They're just looking at America, how America is playing its games. We people, we don't want your shit. In fact, even China is thinking of banning these banning movies, Hollywood movies from America. So we all know that the entertainment industry, the movie industry is a big industry in the United States of America, and we know that a lot of this content is being consumed in Asia and Africa. So when you see countries in Asia like China is a big economy. China is a big powers in matters business. China is one of the big manufacturers. So it has a lot of people talking about the movie industry. They are consumers. They consume a lot of content from Hollywood. So when you see China saying that they will impose a ban on these Hollywood movies, America needs to take a caution. They need to watch out. And China is a big powerhouse. Just recently, they launched when US was trying to ban TikTok. They launched Red Note, and Red Note is and there's Shanghu app also. These are one of they're on the top 5 most downloaded apps on apps on Google Play Store in America. They launched DeepSeek, which almost broke the stock markets. This AI is mad crazy. They're building dams, the biggest dams in the world. They're having the longest and big bridges so America is going to lose in this war. It's fighting a losing battle, and it's high time that you guys stand up, because you're not only at a financial crisis, it matters business and economics, but you're also at a constitutional crisis. So it's high time American citizens, they stand up and defend their country. Just defend your country. You are not the people who think you are. It was all a fabricated story, So I think it's high time you guys tell your president the truth, and all these things are going to be okay. But I have nothing much to say, but just to tell you that stand up and defend your country. I don't know what you think about this episode, but let me know in the comments, or most definitely I'll ask you to leave a reply, like this video, so that it can be suggested to as many people as possible. Make sure that you subscribe to this channel. Take me to 1,000 subscribers. Make sure that you turn on post notifications, that every time I post a new video, you'll be the first person to get notified about it. But right about now, let me say I hope to see you in my next video. This is Awaken Africa. I've been your host, Bemo. Peace out.